from earlier today, and we have some special guests. But first of all, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Blue Water Climate Control and Tennessee Tap House, sponsoring today's show and sponsoring Volunteer Road Show. It's Cold World Podcast. So, getting feedback, Catfish. But anyway, so I just want to first of all just give a shout out to my special guest that we have with us today. Got Fred White. We have Leonard Little, Tennessee legend. First time with us. I know Fred has been with us before, but first time having Dirty One on the show today. And then of course we got Billy Ratliff contributing as well. So I want to kick it off and just like so we follow just to let everybody know kind of overview of what we're talking about here today. Coach Fulmer retires, Jeremy Pruitt gets fired, and then there's a lot swirling around the program right now. A lot of uncertainty. Trying to figure out just to get a feel for what some people really connected to the program, how they feel about what's going on, and where they see us going, and how these next couple of weeks are going to play out. So I want to. We heard from Fred earlier today. We heard from Deuce, heard from Billy. I just want to start off with Head. What do you think about what happened? Just give me your take on how you feel about it.
I don't know what violations actually was, but I guess they had to do what they had to do at this current time. But moving forward, man, I just want them to hire the right person. We need a leader. We actually need a coach that really can coach these players and actually develop these players. That's what we need.
Yeah.
And also added to that, we need coaches to quit hiring their best friends, man. Right. Like really, we need the coaches to quit doing that because they might not can even coach that well and develop players that well. So we need someone who's going to come in, be a leader of men, and also be a great coach, and also hire great assistant coaches as well.
So here, it's funny. I felt when you said that, you just want to hire somebody that can do the job, because we all kind of went through this together, and especially through social media when we went through the Dooley hiring, we went through with Kiffin, we went through with Butch and Pruitt. Every time, we're so passionate about our program and where it's going. We get worked up about who they may hire, who they're interviewing, who passed it over, who's going where, and we get all worked up about it. And when you just said, like, just hire somebody to do the job, I understand exactly where you're coming from, because all the posts and everything else that we've all been through in the last, 10 years or so, it didn't really amount to anything, and it just got us more frustrated, and then we didn't get the results that we wanted. So, Deuce, I know you have some opinions on what we're talking about. What do you just think about that situation and about where we're going?
Well, and I'm kind of with Leonard, and I think we pretty much all speak kind of the same language on this. Yeah. We want somebody who can get the job done. And I was talking earlier, and I realized, this is the end of an era. Completely an end of an era. Coach Fulmer is no longer gone. Going to be there. It's probably not going to be anyone that we've ever been connected with going to get the jobs that we're talking about getting right now.
And is that okay? Is that okay? Is that okay to say that?
I think it is. If you move
think it is too.
If it's progressively thinking, absolutely. If you're trying to move into the future, absolutely. I'm okay with that. Right. I want the people to be able to do their jobs. Like Leonard said, to do your job, make us good. Let the regular leaders come in and understand what it is to be a Tennessee Volunteer. Doesn't necessarily have to have Tennessee ties, but if they can get the job done, I want you to get the job done. Next coaching staff, same thing. Whoever you hire as a head coach, they don't have to be a Tennessee guy, but they need to be someone who understands what it means to be a Tennessee Volunteer, understand what it means to have our history of the program, those type of things. I think that would be big. It needs to be someone who wants to be at Tennessee, not something that's a stepping stone for them.
So I say that's been a problem, and I think I agree with you about hire the best people for the job, and if they happen to have Tennessee ties, great. But if they don't, so be it. But what I think you just we talked about it earlier today. We've had people come in that were outside of the program. It's one thing to want to do your own thing, but to not respect and to acknowledge what we have in play. There's certain Tennessee traditions, like it shouldn't matter who's coaching, that you need to at least acknowledge. Or what I know you're gonna put your own spin on it, do your own thing, and put your fingerprints on it. But to try to ignore or wipe out some certain traditions, I think that's where you get yourself in trouble, where you disconnect yourself from alumni, fans, boosters, and everybody as a whole.
Mhm.
So with that being said, so Warren, where me and you talked, we were talking a little bit about it, before we hit the camera. So I think what we're gonna see, we're gonna start with this AD search first because we touched on Coach Fulmer, what he was charged with coming in to do. I think he accomplished some of that, but of course the Pruitt hire didn't work out. So now we're going in a different direction. So at the top of that, to start off with the AD, we threw out some names off camera. Talk about that search, where you see it going, and what you're looking for about who can lead us out of this darkness that we're in right now.
I still think we need to have somebody that has some ties with Tennessee, period, when it comes to the AD, because we need somebody that could, keep everybody together and also make the community love them as well, because that's where it all starts at here in the city of Knoxville. And, of course, everybody always want to have the ex-guys come back, and we need somebody that's going to also have that as well, because if you don't have anybody that has connections with the ex-guys that could communicate with boosters or whatever it takes to become a community again, because Knoxville has lost their community when it for the team-wise, because they don't trust anybody here at all now. So if we got someone that knows Knoxville and understand the city of Knoxville, I think that would be a great thing.
So I'm looking over this list, and I'm going to call out. I looked over, and there's about 10, 12 people on this particular list. And just the thing that jumped out at me immediately was that I didn't see Dr. Mickey Allen's name on this particular list. But everybody else, they either had Tennessee connections or they were connected to somebody with the program, to the point earlier about best friends and connections. But the ones with Tennessee, I'm going to throw out some names. I'm going to get everybody's feedback and your first thoughts on this. And let me get through the list first. The ones that I see with Tennessee connections: Brad Lampley, Charles Davis, Mark Ingram, Reggie McKenzie, Tara Brooks, David Blackburn. And of course, I'm going to put Mickey's name in there just because I didn't see it on this list, but we're putting Mickey's name in there. Give me, if we're going the route of what Worm just said, some Tennessee connections, but very qualified people. That's the thing you have to put on that. What do y'all think about that list? Hey, you heard the names. What do you think about that list of people?
I think actually it's a good list. I mean, but the thing about it is when the AD comes in, everybody got to work in one accord, with the chancellor, the president, everybody like that. Mark Ingram would be good. Mickey's young, he's energetic, he's real smart, he could do it. Brad can do it. We all know Brad too. He can do it. You said who else was Charles Davis?
Charles Davis and Tara Brooks. Coach Brooks, she's been in the athletic department for a while, but Charles Davis and Tara Brooks, yeah.
All of them, I think, can do it. It's just going to be a matter of who's going to come in, hire the right person to be our head coach, and also be in one accord with the president, the chancellor, and everyone like that. If that happens, I think we can start going in the right direction. But we have to choose the right person.
So I'm gonna say this real quick, Jeff. I don't see us hire anyone that's from the tree.
I'm gonna get there. Hold on.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna get past the tree. And the reason why, and I think I know why you said. Well, the reason why I say that is because with what the alleged things that are out there right now, with the reason why we fired our coach for cause, somebody's gonna walk into that situation and have to navigate us through that. Mm-hmm. So do they want somebody, because once you get stained with something, you're kind of guilty by association. It's a positive other times, but it's a negative other times. So to your point, dudes, now coming out of that, we somebody going outside the tree. Let me just first of all say I like those names too, especially Charles Davis, Mark Ingram, and Mickey and Tara. So I think, I'm not sure what she's doing right now, but I know she's been elevating and working her way up. And I see I see bright. She's going to be an AD somewhere, sometime in the near future.
I like
what are
all
these situations? It's like who's ready for what we're about to deal with, though. Like who's a good fit right now could have been a good fit 3-4 years ago, may not be a good fit right now. But now there's a bunch of names from other people. There's a John Gilbert, he's an AD at East Carolina. There's another.
He has connections.
Well, I forgot one. No, he doesn't. These are not one UT connection. I forgot was Gerald Harrison. He's Austin Peay. You know, he worked there. He was in. I forgot. I overlooked him by mistake.
Yeah, well, Austin Peay right now.
Yeah, he's Austin Peay. But there's the guys from. I see. There's a AD from Western Kentucky, from Kentucky, Florida State, East Carolina. There's some random names of people that are out there that are somewhat close by, and then some others that kind of out in left field. So, Deuce, get back to what you're saying. Somebody that's not from the tree. Why do you think we're going outside the program for the AD?
Well, I think the chancellor and the president's going to be making the decision for who we hire as athletic director, and neither one of them have Tennessee ties themselves. I don't think they're going to bring someone in that has Tennessee ties. I think they're going to bring someone in that they're comfortable with, which would be someone outside the tree. That's my thought process. Will they give some of those guys an opportunity to interview? I think they will, just due process. But I think this will be the time when UT goes completely away from anything that has to do with anyone from Tennessee.
But haven't we done that before, though? Haven't we tried that?
We tried.
Yeah, we have.
We tried everything.
Not at all. I think this
how that shit work out.
I don't think it's going to be somebody that has Tennessee ties.
You tell what could happen though, like Deuce said, they might hire somebody without Tennessee ties, but would you put somebody right underneath them that has Tennessee ties? I mean, that might be the best possible scenario that we can get.
And you keep that continuity, keep some connections, and have somebody that's calling the shots that were removed from that, but you still have somebody that's helping with that lifeblood. Right. And we talked again, David Blackburn, he popped up on that list. I forgot DB too. So he was before Coach got the job, before Coach Fulmer got the job. Everybody expected that next one, especially from the Tennessee tree, to be DB. Mm-hmm. What the hell happened with DB? Because I see him. His name was I don't know if that was in any type of particular order, but his name was on the list, but it was at the bottom of the list. And I don't hear the chatter that I heard before. What's the issue going on there?
That I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like he just faded away. He left the job at UTC. I don't know what happened there. So whatever happened, he just kind of faded away for a minute as far as the top name. And then you do have some new young guys, innovative guys that are on that list, like you said, Mark Ingram and Mickey Allen, those guys. And everybody's infatuated with Charles Davis, which I don't see Charles Davis leaving his job, being the number one commentator to do the job at Tennessee. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
That's what I was saying too.
I mean, so he's done it for a while. I agree with you. It's going to be tough to plug him because the amount of time he has to work now as opposed to what he'd have to put into.
Absolutely. He got to come in and yes. Listen, right, man, do we all agree this is a tough job to take right now?
We going to get to that.
I mean, the AD and the head coach is real tough.
Yeah. Quick. Hey, we got somebody else on the line right now. Got 23 on the line.
Good, Rich?
Did good?
Yeah, I got him on the phone. I got him on the phone for you there, Jeff.
What's going on? D good?
Goody Wood.
Talk to him. We can't hear you.
You there?
Should be. All right, tell him now.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What's good,
Be
brother?
good. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir.
How you doing,
man? Just checking y'all out, seeing what's going on, man. Just seeing the state of our program, Doc.
Talk to me, man. I know you have an opinion because you have never been a quiet, unopinionated brother. I know you have something to say.
I guess for me being there, I'm around the program. My daughter's a freshman. I want to know, Doc, like, why is it like to the point that Tennessee? I mean, we all know that it's an elephant in the room. They need more people of color in administration, bro. Period. I mean, and it's just to the point that you talk about all the minority players on the team, all the African American players on our team, and we don't have enough of us in an administrative role. to make those decisions. So when I'm throwing out the names like Mickey, Gerald, Charles Davis, I think those guys are well qualified and continually get passed over, and to the point that I feel like we as former athletes, we got to keep putting that stuff out there. And I know it's a fine line that we got to walk between that, but I mean, I just feel like enough is enough, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real.
Who want to touch that first? And I know I definitely have something to say about that, but who wants to touch that first?
I mean, I'll take it. I mean, I understand what he's saying, you know, and the reason I do is because based off what we've been through, I mean, there's quite a few African Americans on these teams, and pretty much most of the sports that we have anyway is particularly African American. And I'm not saying we got to get one, but I'm saying that it will be a good situation. You know, when you have someone that could relate to a lot of things that some people can't relate to. And I understand what D. Good is saying.
And I know there's probably somebody out there right now being stupid and scrunching their face about what he said because they're thinking of some affirmative action or whatever. But he just named 3 really, really qualified people that can go be an AD at anywhere, any school in this country. They just so happen to have ties with the University of Tennessee, and Tennessee will be lucky to have any one of those. And I think D. Good, he pointed out something that was really critical. So we had this conversation on Facebook earlier today. Paul Shear, he pointed out it's time for UT to hire a black coach. We haven't really got to the coaching search just yet, but to have people in certain positions of power, it says something when you've gone how many years and haven't had that, and it says something to the athletes that we're trying to get, and just being able to run that particular program. And my whole thing is like it's the right thing to do. But if you try everything else, what the hell is wrong? What is it going to hurt you to give some very, very qualified people of color a shot? And that's a good point.
Like you said, Jeff, we done tried everything in the world. I mean, since Coach Fulmer left from being the head coach, we tried everything.
We tried it all.
Maybe it's time to try something new, man. I don't know. Y'all already know my stance on it, man. I don't care who it is at this point. They can get somebody from Anchorage, Alaska, Hawaii, Europe, anywhere, man. I don't care. Just hire the right person this time, and this person can be around the program for a long period of time rather than all this stuff that's happening now.
One of the things I look at, and I hate having to talk about other schools or whatever, but the blueprint is out there. You look at what Georgia and Alabama are doing as far as like the assistants they hire. And they hire some people just to be analysts. And we're talking about head coaches, those type of things. You need situations like that in your program if you can. I mean, I know that's a tough thing to do when it comes to, what we do at Tennessee, but that is a good opportunity for you to give people an opportunity to coach, to bring in more skilled people, to bring in more football minds and those type of things. Your money comes from your football, right? And we want our program to be better. Find ways to get in better coaching, but not just better coaching as far as like your overall staff, like position coaches. You need consultants as well that are qualified too.
Hey, I was thinking about that today too. Sometimes we worry about the optics of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't really. We rather go somebody about we rather hire somebody with the optics. But we don't want to hire the coach. We can take Nick Saban for instance. Look at all the people that Nick Saban hires. He hires football coaches. They knows how to develop kids. That's why he stays ahead of a lot of people. He doesn't care what people say at all. I know that comes with winning and stuff like that, but he doesn't care whatsoever. He hires the best possible coach and the best possible person that come in and help a situation now. And we need to start doing that, man. Yeah, we need to start doing that.
So getting to we kind of that AD position we kind of talked through. So the coach, who's that going to be? Who's going to be that person? Because like, and Deuce, you said, I'm going to repeat. I'm going to kind of paraphrase what you said earlier today about everybody, continuously trying to hire a Nick Saban clone and somebody from their tree, thinking that if there's one Nick Saban. First of all, there's only one of those. He's a one of one. So, and also the way that the game of college football is played right now, you're not, and he understood that because their defenses aren't great anymore. He's a defensive coach that doesn't have a team that's winning championships without a great defense. They're winning with offense, averaging 45, 46 points a game.
Yeah.
And that's the people Clemson who's challenged him, they're doing it. It's people in Ohio State, people with innovative offensive minds. And that's everybody who pops up and is doing that. So with that being said, because I think that's what kind of intrigued Coach Fulmer into. That's what kind of got him into hiring. He's a old school. We know what time he came up. We know how he won and how he was accustomed to coaching. And I think that played into him hiring Pruitt. So with whoever the new AD is, who is somebody out there that can take on those reins, a good offensive mind? Or I take that back. Who do you see? What kind of coach and who do y'all see him hiring? I'm gonna start with you, Deuce. What do you see from this coaching search where you see it going?
I don't know. Because here's the thing. I don't know who's making this hire. I mean, if it's going to be, a search group, or if Peyton's going to lead it up, or is a new athletic director, is he going to be the guy who makes this call? I don't know. Whoever we get as soon as we get an athletic director, in my opinion, I can have a better idea of what style they want and who they want. It's kind of hard to say.
But based on what we're talking about, what we think is going to be successful, any AD is going to, I know it's going to, we'll have this conversation again after we hire somebody. But just assume a couple things right now. Assume that AD knows what you know, of what we all know about what's going to win in today's college football landscape.
Well, I can say that I don't have a name or anything that I want to throw out there, because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of, I feel like to win in the SEC, you have to be able to score 30 to 35 points per game. And that's putting you in the middle of the pack, a little bit above middle of the pack. You got to be able to score at least 30, 35 points a game. So you need somebody who has an offensive mind. The game has changed. It's no longer like it used to be. And I think the fact that we need to I like to see a kid that's a mobile quarterback. A lot of these teams are winning with mobile quarterbacks. However, Alabama didn't win with a mobile quarterback, but they got 5-star recruits all over the doggone football field. That quarterback finished the game, and he didn't even have grass on his pants. Come on. So, I feel like the game is changing, and we need to catch up. Yes. We behind.
And see, I'm with you there too, man. Just like what Leonard said, man. We got to go get coaches. We got to get the best coaches. I mean, we got to go steal some of these coaches. And right now is a great time to do that. I mean, especially now that we don't have to pay that buyout now. We can afford to get a coach now. It's time to go get coaches. Great time to do that. I mean,
but we spend a lot of money. Go ahead.
Let me tell y'all one thing. We were spoiled, and our fans were spoiled when we played, because we had a heck of a head coach, but we had some of the best assistant coaches in America. So it made it easier for Coach Fulmer, obviously. So somehow we got to get back behind those type of coaches that develop. Every coach we had developed players, every last one of them. Everybody became a better player when they came to Tennessee. Everybody. I mean, everybody I know and everybody you guys know too.
But the head man has to delegate. First of all, you have to identify. So there's been a long time I talk to people about. There's different types of great head coaches. You got great coaches who are X and O guys, and then you have great leaders who know how to motivate and they know how to identify great coaches. That's a skill in itself, knowing how to identify great coaches and then delegating the leadership to them to be able to do it. Because one thing we heard, and we could talk about it now. One thing we heard coming out of the camp with this particular coach is that he was too micromanaging and hands-on with every position and every coach.
But JC, that's how Nick Saban does it, and what he has to.
Nick Saban,
who I'm saying. So he has to take a little bit what Nick Saban did at his program, bring it to our program, but don't be like Nick, because it's not you. Be your own head coach, and don't be like Nick Saban. Be your own little version or whatever Nick Saban, but you don't have to do everything he does.
And they all think they're Nick Saban. They all do. They all think they can do it the same way he does.
You can't.
You can't. You don't have his credentials. You don't have his credentials. Yeah, you might have won a national championship with Nick Saban, but you didn't do it without him.
So
he's done it without you, though.
When you know you get hired, I'll tell you why it happens. When people, they know they're getting hired because of that connection. So they think they're giving people what they want by trying to be him, because that's why people came looking for him. And that's the problem. Like you need to. That's what got me the job, but that's not what I need to go out and try to emulate or try to be, because, like, again, there's only one of them.
Maybe, like I said before, man, when you get hired from a tree like that, of course you're going to take certain things away from Nick Saban. It might be his recruiting. It might be the way he run practices, whatever. But you can't be exactly like him because it's not you. And it's crazy that coaches continue doing that stuff when it takes away from them being the coach and help these players out.
And our player development, and that's been one thing that has been sorely like. First people years ago, it was like we didn't have the recruits. Okay, we started getting the recruits, but one thing about it, I hate to even keep talking about this dude, but he's the gold standard for it right now, is Nick Saban in that program. They'll take a 3-star dude and make him a 4 or 5-star dude, take a 4 or 5-star and make him just a first-round selection superstar. We rarely, me and someone sat down and we just went over like how many 3-star dudes we got that came in, became a 4 or 5-star. How many 5-star, 4-star showed that, hey, I am a 4-star guy. We never had that consistent overall type of development with our program. And it hurts. And kids see that. They're like, well, am I going to get better if I go there?
And that makes a big difference.
Hey, JP, I got a question for y'all, fellas. Like, do y'all think that we're going to go after somebody that got previous head coach experience? Or do you think it's going to be somebody, are they going to take a chance on another coordinator? Because I guess one name that I'm not hearing at all that kind of puzzles me is Joe Brady. Is that the one from LSU? That's at Carolina Panthers now? Like, I mean, for you on the offense that averaged 51 points a game, if y'all talking about a young, innovative find, I mean, one national title, coordinator in the pros, I mean, that'll be a big splash hire to me.
That's a good point. And I think, like what Head said, it's like everything should be on the table right now. Because the only caveat that I put to that is that it depends on what's going on with these allegations. And that may be a good thing to have a guy that doesn't have the type of because if you bring in a proven guy and people are going to expect you, no matter, I don't care if you lost scholarships, if you don't, you have probation or what, they want you to win. And they're on the clock the minute they hit. If you bring in a guy like that he's going to, somebody like Brady, like you mentioned, he's going to, if nothing else, he's going to score points his first year. And you may be losing, but you're going to be exciting. You're going to be entertaining doing it until you can get it right. So I think that's a good point. What do you guys think about bringing in somebody like that as opposed to
I like him too. I like Joe Brady. My thought process is he going to want to coach college now?
Yeah, right. I heard the same thing with Eric. Somebody mentioned Eric Bieniemy. I was in a lot of conversations today, and I was like, Eric Bieniemy turned down his alma mater. He seems to want to stay in the NFL, but you have offensive minds just like that. Is that something we would do? If it's not Brady, if it's not Bieniemy, is that somebody that they would entertain? Somebody?
Bieniemy, man. He's gonna be. He wants to be an NFL head coach. He's going to be like either this year, maybe, or next year, maybe. So
he's going to get the Texas job.
Yeah, he probably get that. Yeah. But I think that might depend on what Deshaun Watson still want to do, because he don't want to go to the Texans without a quarterback.
Deshaun Watson endorsed it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson might not be there.
You know what I'm saying?
You're right about that.
But, Bieniemy would be a great college head coach, but he's too far gone from college right now. I
don't think he's coaching in college.
No, I don't think so either. And speaking of not being there too, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Warren. You about to ask something?
No, you got. Go ahead. You're fine. Go ahead, Jason.
So speaking of not being there, talking about player development and just with the shit that's swirling right now, you see the college free agency. We talked about this a little bit last week. College free agency opened up, and some of the kids are already leaving. So how do you think that's going to impact some of the kids right now? And what do you think this is going to impact us in recruiting just going for the next year or two? Now, we get the right person in, they can stop that. But
so as far as the portal stuff and people transferring?
Yeah, because this is a lot easier to go now.
Kids nowadays, they're not going to stick around anyway. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's funny? I I say the same thing too. It's like I blame the kids, but if you listen to every conversation I had it with Deuce, I had it with Riggs, I had it with Worm, myself, all of us, and probably you, everybody has thought about or talked about leaving when they were at school at some point. I almost don't blame the kids as much as I blame the people around the kids. Like like my mom wouldn't let me go. It's just like she was like, she put a stop to that. She wasn't gonna let that happen. And that's just, I hear that same story with everybody we talked about. They had people around them that stopped them from going. So I think now it's just like, if it's not working, just bail out, and people let them bail out. So what is going to stop these kids? Because we've already lost a couple of them, like
some good ones.
Well, I think it would be.
Leave for different reasons, though.
Well, it depends. It depends. So I still say this. I mean, it's still going to take the right coach to come in here to stop that bleeding. Mm-hmm. We're going to need, to me personally, we're going to need an offensive juggernaut to come in here and let the kids know that they got a chance to win. Because, that's what you want. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get any recruits come to a school that's losing. You can only pitch that you can start right away for so long, and it works. Right. Because we us, we didn't like losing. I mean, we didn't lose a lot when we played in Tennessee, but we also wanted to win. That's the reason why we came to Tennessee. When we came to Tennessee, our coaches can say that, hey, we got to get our best 11 on the field, and you got a chance to win, you got to start. You can't do that with these kids. Now these kids want instant success and playing at the same time. So I can see, us getting a great offensive-minded head coach with a great offensive coordinator. That's what we're going to need to keep these recruits and stop the bleeding.
So offensive juggernaut. Somebody mentioned it. I heard this again today. I've been on a lot of boards, hearing a lot of conversations. And somebody dropped another name, and this goes way back to the first time he got the job. I heard that somebody dropped the Lane Kiffin bomb. Like, what would Lane Kiffin be accepted back?
Man, I'll tell y'all what
I have to ask the question.
Like, I'm at the point now. I don't care. I don't care who they.
I'm with
I don't care no more, man. I'm done.
Yes,
I don't care.
I told people I was okay. I was happy with like if he said he wanted to come back tomorrow, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I don't care about any of that. Right? If you come and get the job done, I'm like y'all. I'm perfectly okay with that.
If he does come back, I'm all with rewriting the ship, and don't do the same stuff he did before. Whatever. I'm all with that, man. So, I said before, I'm gonna say this 100 times. I just want a football coach, man. I just want a football coach.
Let me say this real quick. Y'all do know it would be career suicide for him.
For Lane, why do you say that?
Because
you can't leave a program in 1 year like you did us to come back.
That's true. And do it twice.
And then if it does not work out, no one will ever hire you again.
That's true.
That's right.
That's a great point, though.
But look who you're talking about, though. You're talking about Lane Kiffin. He's not the most traditional.
He knows that, though, Jeff. I know through the grapevines he would not take the job.
I don't think he will either. I really don't. I don't think we need Kiffin, though, man. I like JC said. What JC said. And I'm like, hey, I just want a coach that can coach. But there's so many masterminds out there, man. There's some NFL guys out there that can come in and have an instant success. There's some smart people out there that can come do it.
So, is Diga still on with us? Is he still on? Is he still there?
My bad, fellas.
I like to ask people in other countries how they view in the United States right now. You're still in Texas, right? You're in Texas?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What are people in the state of Texas saying about the real UT right now? Because I know they try to claim Austin, the UT down there, but what are the people saying outside of our immediate region? What are they saying about us as a program right now?
We're a laughing stock, man. I ain't gonna lie. I hate to say it, but down here, it's everything is Alabama, LSU, even Texas A&M is gaining steam. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I mean, I think they down here a little bit. I mean, the kid Katie Salter is from my backyard, and he's a really good kid, man. He's a good football. Leonard, you talk about a good football coach. That kid is a good football player. Like, he would have been able to, I ain't gonna say he would have played on our team, he would have been able to compete with him. Like, I've watched him go out there and lead teams. I've watched him go out there and work. Like, I'm excited about it, but like, I mean, they're still Tennessee, man. It's still a big time SEC program, and the kids want to play. I mean, they want to get on the field. So, I mean, they still looking at Tennessee. You know, it's just they waiting to see what we do. Like, waiting on us to get back on top. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's some kids down. I mean, there's some kids down here because I got, my son's a freshman down here, and right. I mean, that freshman class, those kids are looking at Tennessee. They want Tennessee to get back going. They want to get excited about Tennessee, but quite honestly, we ain't gave them too much to get excited about on the field. So,
hey,
I'm just being real.
Hey,
go ahead.
Big Cat over here, he's coming. He said the best person to get Tennessee out of this rust spot
is Rex Ryan. He has the personality to land. That's why I'm glad he didn't log in. I didn't want to go through this shit today, man. We had that Rex Ryan conversation earlier.
They talking about Rex Ryan, Jeff Fisher. I'm like,
listen, Jeff Fisher. Okay, I'm glad Jeff Fisher. And somebody said he was a proven winner. This man coached 22 seasons and had six winning seasons in 22 years. He was only 7-8 games over 500. He made his reputation off of 3 good years. Man. And he rolled those 3 years out like nobody. And they were 10 years apart. He had like a couple good years.
He ran that Super Bowl run.
This man is 8-8. If 8-8 was a person, that's Jeff Fisher.
Oh, man. Hey, I am Martin over here, too, man.
Shreveport. What's going on, man?
I am Martin.
What is Shreveport talking about, man?
He's just watching right now. He's behind the scenes.
So I know. So we want to. So I want to. If D Good is still on, I want to get his last take, and we about to go around the horn and just get everybody's final take on this and wrap this up. D Good, what do you think? I know you touched on a little bit about what you think, how we need to go about getting better and just getting us out of this storm right now. What do you think? Some other thoughts on what do you think we need to go from here?
I mean, I just think we need to get. I mean, obviously the AD hire is the most important hire. I mean, but I definitely y'all talked about it earlier. Talked about somebody with Tennessee connections. I think that program is so unique where it sits in the conference like that. The recruiting, you got to recruit statewide first. You know what I'm saying? You got to take care of that. So I think you have to have somebody to get that connection because you don't, until you, like for real, I'm from Chicago, bro. So until you get down to Tennessee, you don't understand what it's about until you get there. Like telling somebody about it and having somebody that has that connection, that has that love for it, that's qualified now. You know what I'm saying? That's qualified. Not just throwing somebody in that role, but you know they're going to get all to it. So you know they're not going to. Yeah, they've been, like Mark Ingram, he's been well-traveled. He's done good things. You know what I'm saying? There's some good guys that done good things, but we need somebody that's going to shake some things up. It can't be business as usual. That doesn't fail for the last 20-some years now. So, I mean, we need a change. We need a change. So I think getting that AD hire is important. Like, they got to nail that because we probably going to be under some investigation. We're going to be under some stiff penalties. So it's going to have somebody that can come in and right the ship. Right. So, I mean, I think that AD hire is really important, man. I think the names that y'all listed, there's some good qualified people. Like, we know David Blackburn is a beast. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he was there with us, so we know. I mean, so it's a lot of guys out there that qualify for that role. But I definitely think the AD search is the most important thing right now.
JC,
you, be good. Thank you for calling in, brother. Go ahead, Deuce. You up next?
That same thing I've been saying. This is a tough job. Coming in for an athletic director as well as a coach. This is going to be a tough job. This is not going to be something that's going to be changed around in 3 years. Might not even be 4 years. This is going to be the first time we really going to have to be patient.
Mm-hmm. I said 5. Yeah,
you got like this is almost like a complete rebuild.
So you're telling me if we get the right guy, like the good offensive juggernaut HC that's put together an offense that can get some kids in and know how to develop. You guys are still telling me with some of the holdovers that we have, we do the cupboard isn't bare. Like I said, we just haven't had the development. So you're telling me it's going to take 5 years if even if we get the right guy, it's going to take 5 years.
It's going to take. We should see progress every year, but however, to be where we want to be like you want to be in the top 5, top 10, whatever, you're looking at about a 4 or 5 year job.
Okay.
That's my thought process.
Let's see here.
So,
and the reason
I think you're going to lose some recruits as well.
The reason I say that, this is not the NFL, guys. We ain't getting the best players every year. We ain't getting what we used to get when we played there.
Exactly.
Right now, we are at the bottom of the barrel. And
I disagree.
I don't buy this shit. I agree. I don't buy it.
Guys, y'all, if y'all go over there and see what they got, y'all would change your mind. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Y'all just got told that we had all these All-American 5 stars on the offensive line. No, we didn't, man. I'm telling you, put it like this here. You guys saw Trey Smith play. How good was Trey Smith this year? And that's our best offensive lineman.
Now, let me just say the scheme that they were running did not fit that offensive line at all.
Oh, no,
they going side to side, man.
That is absolutely right.
That's what Leonard talked about earlier. You got to develop that talent.
We need
you
coaches.
Can't have those. You can't.
Coaches.
And the reason why I say this is the fact that you look at NFL rosters. It's still Tennessee guys on NFL rosters making NFL teams.
So,
yes. Shy Tuttle was balling right now. Right. I mean, you talk about guys that's out there balling in the NFL. So that talent was on your. Now it's not first round talent, but it's NFL talent.
So what was our record this year? 3-7? Was it 3-7? Mm-hmm. I think 3-7. Yeah. So you can't. So to that point. So you take every coach of every team that was in the top 25 this year, give them our team. We're not 3-7 because that tells you what a coach would have done. And you take that top 10, all those teams in the top 10, you give them the team we had this year. You're talking 7-3 instead of 3-7.
But here's the issue we have. The issue we have is this: those guys are leaving. Some of those guys are our best players are leaving. Right. And some of these guys are transferring. So you got to come in and replenish those guys and also teach them how to run your offense, your system. It's going to take a while, bro.
I agree with that.
That's not a 2-year turnaround.
I just don't want to. I personally don't want to hear 5. I don't want to hear 5 years. Hey, what do you? I don't want to hear.
I don't think learning the system is going to take a year or two, especially in college. Man.
It's different, man.
Man. I mean,
because the line isn't pat. They're just like the same. It's regular. They're just they're running zone blocking schemes and shit.
Sometimes it takes that long to build that attitude that you need to run the system.
It's that coaching
and knowing the system and getting the players you need in the system. But learning the system is easy. But it's just
but listen. But you know the difference in learning. Like when we got to Tennessee, we can't look at it from the standpoint of just learning the system. The difference was when we got to Tennessee, you had a guy in front of you. When you made a mistake on the football field, somebody on the team had already talked to you before you even got to the coach.
Right.
That means everyone on the team knows the system.
No, I was more scared of Leonard Little and Al Wilson than I was of Coach Fulmer.
Felicia, and I said this several times.
I really didn't say nothing to nobody really that much, man.
But you didn't have to, man.
I missed the tackle, bro, in the Georgia game my freshman year. I came in with Chief Fair. You like, bro, if you miss another tackle, you going out the game. I'm like, come on, man. And then y'all just missed.
So to that point, and my freshman year, I get in the game against Georgia, and I tell the story. I run out there, Steve White. We running a text. Steve White grabbed me by my shoulder. He's like, "Don't get me killed out here, freshman." I'm like, "All right." This is just like we held each other accountable in that locker room and on the field long before we got the film, coach, and everything else.
But think about it. You had coaches on the football field too. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Like, if you bring in a new system, all those guys are learning the same new system. They don't know how to teach it. I cannot teach a person how to do this job because I don't even know how to do it.
But you can teach them how to be, and I say professional. You can teach them how to be, how to carry yourself, how to train, how to practice. There's more to it than plays and things of that nature. You got people around that know how.
You also have to have a coach that allow to be leaders.
That is true. That is true.
You can't be micromanaging.
I mean, I know I came in after all y'all, and it was a culture already set in place when I got there. You knew exactly what to do. You knew exactly what to do and what not to do the minute you step on campus. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that, and you were held accountable by the upper class. And I remember y'all had a saying, bro. You haven't earned no credit yet. You know what I'm saying? You ain't on no credit hours yet to do that.
You got no credit.
You got no credit hours.
You got no hours.
So basically, you can't say nothing for your whole first year, basically. You know what I'm saying? Until you go out there and prove yourself on the field. So, I mean, that was the standard that was set. And I think with these kids now, you got those nice facilities. You got all these. I mean, they pampered, man. We know what it is. I mean, they pampered and like when we were spoiled, they spoiled now. But it's going to take getting kids in there that want to do things the right way and want to win.
We talked about this. We talked about that during the national championship game. It's like the kids down there in Tuscaloosa. They're one of the programs that they stay and pay their dues. You see kids that didn't play for a year or two, then they pop up and it's like boom. Their first round draft pick, second round draft pick, and they play behind dudes. They're okay with doing that because they know the people in front of them are studs. And I'm not just sitting behind somebody that I shouldn't be sitting behind. And they wait their turn, and they know they're going to be developed, and they're going to be studs too. And that's just how it is. That's a crazy thing to say, but that's like one of the few. There's a handful of programs. You see it at Ohio State. You see it at Clemson. You see it at these teams that are consistently good and in the playoffs every year.
Yeah, the team that.
But you gotta understand, JC. I hate bringing us in the subject, but we was the same way. We was the same way.
That's a throwback to that type of era because I understand. Like I said, there was no shame in me with the years I didn't start with them. Man, I'm sitting behind Leonard Little, JB, Steve White, all these people. I'm trying to learn as much as I can from them. Take advantage of my opportunities when I get them. And wait my time. That's just what it is. And if you're gonna stick around this, you were gonna wait your time behind somebody unless you were just the elite of the elite.
They also force you to get better and force you to trust you enough to put you in the game, and eventually you're gonna start after that, man. I mean, people don't really they don't have that formula now, man. They want to start instantly straight out of high school and stuff like that, man.
That's how they recruit them, though, Leonard. You got to realize that too.
That's the same way, dude.
But then again, I don't blame the kid because my high school coach told me. He said if they promising you that you're going to play or start as a freshman, don't like they're like. So what does that say? They're either telling so when you're going to be there at one point and they're telling some kid the same thing about you, and then or. What is that? They haven't seen you practice. They haven't seen what you were going to do. How do you know? How do they know you're ready to play right then? How can they promise you that right now? And that's one of those things to where somebody's making that promise to a kid that hadn't stepped on campus yet. That's a problem.
And
but
that's
I know they do it.
Yeah, and that's a problem, man. When you start promising people stuff and don't follow through with it, that's when they start to get mad and then they leave and they're not giving their full potential. And just like you guys were just saying, everything all of y'all just said transition to 4 to 5 years.
so with that,
Big One. Thank you.
I'm saying before then, man. I'm saying I don't get like I said before.
But I will.
It takes time to build a culture, brother.
Nah, not 5 years.
Okay, let me say this though.
Hold on, Digga is trying to get a point in.
Let me say this, and I agree with this. It's going to be a 4 to 5 year process, but we also got to understand. This is college football. It's different than NFL. You can recruit. You go pick your talent, man. Mm-hmm. So if you go out there and you get a splash hire and you go get that offensive guy that's going to put up 40, 50, you still got to recruit class and put the whole together. You still got time to keep some kids together. And guess what? Like with all those guys leaving, it's going to be early playing time. And you still talking about Tennessee is still an SEC program. So this hire, that AD hire, the coaching hire is very important. You know what I'm saying?
We got a kid from...
Yeah, it is a 4. I believe you. It is a 4 to 5 year process for those kids coming in. But I mean, they still got to hold some stuff together. I mean, I think they did get rid of Pruitt at the right time. I do.
we have some kind of name, or it still has some kind of draw because we got some kids out of the portal. The kid from kid hooker from Virginia Tech, and then the other, I called him the bootleg big cat, the one that came from Auburn is transferring. And this is an all SEC guy who's coming to Tennessee from Auburn. So there's
we don't get him without Kevin Steele being hired.
Nah, I understand.
And we might be in the play for somebody I know, but they're trying to still get him there too. So he'd be a good pass rusher for us and stuff like that. So we got some kids, man. It's just like you guys said, getting the right coach, man. First getting the AD, then getting the right coach, man.
So we're going to, because that was the thing. We started off with that thing, getting the right coach. Head started off. That's through the whole conversation. We end that thing. Just get the right coach with the AD. So I think we're going to have many, many conversations about this tonight. I think that's a good note to end it on. We had some great conversation. We're going to get everybody back. We're going to have some other cast of characters come on because this is going to be a long journey. We want to hear what everybody got to say about it. We're going to talk about this on a regular basis. But
this is going to be a marathon.
This is going to be a marathon. So that's why we're going to say
20K marathon.
We're going to say some of the talking points for that. But, just like we ended early today, I'm going to end it with MLK Day. I'm going to end it with another MLK quote. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Thank you for joining us on the Cold World Podcast today. We'll talk to you.